Hello, Captain Graham here with a quick reaction to the unveiling last week of previously unknown early organ works attributed to the 20-year-old JS Bach. Shout out to my subscriber Scovia5758 for suggesting this content. Now, I hadn't been keeping up with the news, but when I heard about it, I did a little bit of my own research. The facts are that renowned Bach scholar Peter Volney, who's director of the Bach Archive in Leipzig, discovered manuscript copies of two works in the early 90s in the Royal Library of Belgium. They are both unsigned and undated. Comparing these with a letter that later turned up, he's identified the handwriting of that of Salomon Gunther John, apparently an early Bach pupil, although not one I've come across before. Not sure if anyone else has either. The two pieces are Ciacona, including a fugue in D minor, and the Ciacona in G minor, which were given the BWV numbers of 1178 and 1179 in the Bach catalogue, BWV catalogue. Veteran Dutch organist Ton Koopman gave the works their modern premiere in November 2025 at the Thomaskerke in Leipzig, where Bach was cantor from 1723 up to his death in 1750. Now, Ciacona or chaconne is a movement built from a repeated bass line over ever more intricate variations in the upper parts. As a dance form, it seems to have originated in Spanish-speaking lands, but it caught on all over Europe, France, Germany, Italy during the Baroque era, along with various related forms such as the Passacaglia and the Lamentation bass. Now, Bach left us a few incredible examples: the chaconne from the violin partiture in D minor, BWV 1004, Passacaglia, BWV 582, and the form's been used in several choral movements, for example in the cantatas BWV 178 and 12. The latter found its way in a different arrangement of the Crucifixus of the B minor Mass. Listening to the two works, the Ciacona in G minor is by far the more impressive, containing a variety of sparkling passage work of increasing complexity as the bass goes through. The D minor work is more Frenchified and a little limited in scope, although the tune becomes quite catchy when you've heard it a few times or played it. Particularly attractive are the frequent echo effects an octave lower. One interesting aspect is that the fugue used the chaconne bass line as its subject, and the whole of the first section is repeated da capo after the fugue. So the fugue can be seen as part of the variation structure of the chaconne. Now, do I think these are early works of JS Bach or some other more obscure German Baroque organ composer? So little is known about Bach's early style, and so few works are known, it's almost impossible to make a stylistic comparison. The original Bach manuscripts in almost all early cases have been lost, and we only know of certain works through versions written out by copyists or pupils. When Bach died, his surviving manuscripts were dispersed between his main musical sons, the Thomaskerke, and his widow. His eldest son, W.F. Bach, seems to have been especially careless with the manuscripts, and many got dispersed and lost, perhaps forever. A lot of archives were lost over the years through fires, wars, and other calamities, with World War II and the advent of the Iron Curtain further destroying or dispersing precious Bach materials far and wide. Modern discoveries are comparatively rare, but not unheard of. For example, in the mid-1970s, a print edition of the Goldberg Variations was discovered in France, and that had been marked up by Bach's own hand with revisions. These include tempo indications, ornaments, accidentals, and articulation marks. Even more amazing, in the copy there was an extra leaf of Bach handwriting containing 14 hitherto unknown puzzle canons based on the first 8 notes of the Goldberg Variations bass line. I say hitherto unknown, I mean except one, which was featured in the famous portrait by Haussmann, where he's holding the canon in his hand in the painting. In 2006, 2 manuscripts of other composers' works in organ tablature came to light from a library in Weimar as the earliest examples of Bach's handwriting, dating from when he was around age 15. So new Bach bits and pieces have shown up in modern times. Question you must all be asking, are these 2 pieces newly discovered early Bach? Well, Peter Volney is about the best there is when it comes to Bach attribution. From my own perspective, I don't hear anything especially Bachian in these pieces. They're both plausible. The problem is we just have almost nothing to compare these with. My opinion, I can't accept these unquestioningly as Bach, but I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've been given BWV numbers in the gargantuan BWV catalogue 3, rendering the latest edition from Breitkopf and Hartel, which I bought last year, several €100, already out of date. This is just a quick reaction while the news is hot. It would take me a while to organize a complete recording, as the 2 works have pedal parts. Anyway, do look up the various complete performances that are available on YouTube, including Tom Koopman's, and let me know what you think in the comments. It will help my ailing channel a lot if you do. Hope this explanation has been helpful. Till next time, goodbye.